The wind that evening carried the soft scent of pine needles and wild jasmine. It brushed gently against my skin, like a loving caress. The sun was setting behind the distant mountains, turning the entire valley into a canvas of warm gold, soft pink, and deep orange. Standing at the edge of the cliff, I felt completely at peace. My name is Sophia, 31 years old, married to Daniel for 7 beautiful years, best friends with Mia and Lena since our college days. We called ourselves the Unbreakable Four. We had laughed together through heartbreaks, celebrated promotions, held each other during funerals, and made promises under starry skies that we would always protect one another, no matter what life brought. That night felt like so many others, carefree, warm, full of easy laughter. Daniel stood a few steps behind me, quiet as usual, watching the view. Mia, with her bright smile and flowing hair, raised her glass of sparkling wine. Lena stood on my left, her arm lightly linked with mine. Mia's voice rang out, light and joyful. To us, forever, bonded, through every storm, every joy, every chapter, no matter what. We clinked our glasses. The sound was crisp and cheerful. I took a sip, feeling the bubbles dance on my tongue, and smiled at the people I loved most in the world. I'm so grateful for all of you, I said softly. You make life feel safe. The view from that cliff was breathtaking. A sheer drop of nearly 200 feet to the rocky riverbed below. We had come here many times for picnics and deep conversations. I trusted them completely. I never once imagined danger could come from the people standing right beside me. But what I didn't know on that golden summer evening was that the hands I had held through so many difficult times had already decided my story should end right there. 1 second I was laughing at something Lena said. The next second, I felt 2 firm hands land flat and hard against my upper back. A strong, deliberate push. My body lurched forward violently. My foot slipped on the loose gravel at the edge. For one terrifying, endless moment, there was nothing beneath me but air. The world tilted. The beautiful sunset spun wildly. A silent scream caught in my throat as gravity took over. I fell. The impact was brutal. My body slammed against jagged rocks halfway down. Pain exploded through every nerve. Then another sickening crash as I tumbled further. Darkness swallowed me whole. I should have died that night. But somehow, I didn't. And that single miracle would unravel every lie they had so carefully woven around me. Consciousness returned slowly, like swimming up through thick, dark water. Beeping machines, bright, fluorescent lights, the sterile smell of hospital disinfectant. My body felt heavy, trapped, foreign. Every breath sent sharp stabs through my ribs. Doctors later told me I had fractured 2 vertebrae, broken my left leg in 3 places, cracked several ribs, and suffered deep lacerations on my face and arms. It was, they said, a miracle I survived such a fall. 3 days had passed in unconsciousness. The first face I clearly remember seeing was Daniel's. His eyes were red and swollen. He leaned over the bed, gently brushing hair from my bruised forehead. Sophia, you're awake, thank God. We were terrified. We lost you. Mia arrived soon after, tears streaming down her cheeks. She took my hand carefully, as if it might break. It happened so fast. Soph. One moment you were standing there laughing. The next, you were gone. We screamed your name. We tried to reach you, but it was too quick. Lena stood beside her, nodding, her voice shaky. It was a horrible accident. You must have lost your balance near the edge. We all feel so guilty for not stopping it. Their words sounded perfect. Their tears looked real. My heart wanted desperately to believe them. These were the people who had been my safe harbor for years. Daniel, the man who held me through my mother's long illness. Mia, who stayed up all night with me after my first miscarriage. Lena, who helped plan our wedding and cried happy tears beside me. But deep inside, something didn't feel right. My body remembered the push. Firm, intentional, without hesitation. Not a slip, not an accident, a push. When the police officer came to record my statement, my voice was weak and raspy from the breathing tube. Same, one, pushed me. I felt hands on my back. It wasn't an accident. The officer glanced toward Daniel, who stood silently by the window. Your husband and friends all gave the same account. They said you had a few glasses of wine and stepped too close to the unstable edge. They tried to grab you, but couldn't reach in time. It appears to be a tragic accident. Case closed. Just like that. I spent weeks in the hospital, then more weeks at home in a wheelchair. My body healed slowly. Painful physiotherapy sessions, sleepless nights from discomfort, mirrors that showed a face still covered in fading bruises. Daniel was the perfect caregiver. He cooked soft meals, helped me bathe, massaged my aching legs, and whispered every night, I love you, Sophia. We'll get through this together. You're my everything. Mia and Lena visited almost daily, bringing flowers, homemade soups, and magazines. They sat by my bed, held my hand, and spoke gentle words of encouragement. You're so strong, Mia would say. We're here for you, always. I smiled through the pain. I thanked them. But every time they left the room, the doubt grew heavier. The nightmares returned every single night. The sensation of hands on my back, the weightless terror of falling, the crushing impact. One quiet midnight, while Daniel slept soundly beside me, I reached for his phone to check the time. What I discovered tore open the last fragile pieces of my heart. He had tried to delete the messages, but they were still recoverable. The thread between Daniel, Mia, and Lena went back several months. Daniel, she's refusing to sell the land again. We can't wait much longer. Mia, the resort developers are offering millions. Once she's out of the picture, it's ours to split. Lena, the cliff plan is clean. Make it look like an accident. No one will question 3 consistent stories. Later messages after the fall. Daniel, she's starting to remember. She keeps asking questions about that night. Mia, we need to stay close and keep her calm. If she talks, we all go down. Lena, the inheritance and land are worth everything. We finish this quietly. Reading those words felt like someone had reached inside my chest and crushed my heart. Tears fell silently onto the bedsheet. My body shook with silent sobs. Daniel was having a secret affair with Mia for over a year. Lena knew everything and was helping them because she wanted her share of the millions from selling my late grandmother's valuable hillside land. Land I had inherited, and repeatedly refused to sell for a luxury resort project. They hadn't just betrayed my trust. They had planned my death in cold blood, so they could be together and become rich. The emotional pain that followed was deeper than any physical injury. I felt utterly shattered, broken, exposed, and destroyed. Nights became long battles with despair. I would sit in the dark living room in my wheelchair, staring at old photos of the 4 of us smiling, wondering how their love turned into such calculated cruelty. There were moments I wanted to give up completely. Moments when the betrayal felt too heavy to carry. I cried until my body ached. I questioned every memory, every hug, every I love you. But in the middle of that darkness, something quiet and powerful began to stir inside me. A mother's instinct to survive. A woman's refusal to be erased. The broken pieces of me slowly started rearranging into something stronger. I decided I would no longer show them my fear. I smiled when they expected smiles. I thanked them for their care. I let them believe I was still the trusting, fragile Sophia they thought they had almost killed. While they relaxed, thinking their plan had worked, I began my silent work. I recovered more deleted messages. I recorded late-night phone conversations when they thought I was asleep. I hired a discreet private investigator from another city. I documented every suspicious visit, every whispered call, every financial trail. The shift from pain to strength was slow and painful. Some days the heartbreak threatened to pull me under again. Other days, a calm determination burned quietly in my chest. I whispered to myself in the mirror during tough physiotherapy sessions. They tried to bury you, Sophia, but seeds grow strongest in the dark. Months passed. My body grew stronger. My mind became sharper and clearer than ever. I chose the setting carefully. The same cliff where they had tried to end my life. I invited them for what I called a gratitude gathering, to celebrate my full recovery and our unbreakable friendship. The sunset that evening was even more beautiful than before. Layers of crimson, gold, and soft lavender painted across the sky. The wind carried the familiar sweet scent of jasmine. We stood near the edge, glasses in hand once again. Mia smiled warmly and raised her glass. 2 second chances and lifelong bonds. That was the moment I pressed play on the small hidden speaker in my bag. Their own recorded voices filled the quiet evening air. Clear and unmistakable. Daniel. She's getting too close to the truth. We need to finish what we started at the cliff. Mia. The fall should have been enough. Now she keeps asking questions. We have to be careful. Lena. If she remembers everything, we all lose. The land and money are ours. Once she's gone, for good. The glasses slipped from their fingers and shattered on the rocks below. Mia's face turned deathly pale. Daniel stumbled backward, eyes wide with shock and raw fear. Lena looked like she might collapse. I looked at each of them calmly, my voice steady and clear for the first time since that terrible night. You pushed me off this cliff because you wanted my land, my money, and my silence. You planned my death while pretending to love me, but I survived, and the truth has survived with me. Police officers who had been waiting quietly beyond the tree line stepped forward. The mountain of evidence I had carefully collected over months, recovered messages, audio recordings, bank transfer records, and the investigators' reports, left no room for denial. All 3 were arrested that evening on charges, including conspiracy to commit murder, attempted murder, and fraud. The story spread rapidly through our town and beyond. Their reputations, built over years of careful appearances, crumbled overnight. The luxury resort dream they had secretly planned died before it ever began. Daniel lost his freedom, his marriage, and the woman he had betrayed me for. Mia and Lena watched their perfect lives disintegrate as the consequences of their greed and betrayal finally caught up with them. Today, I return to that cliff sometimes, but I stand there without fear. The wind feels cleaner now. The sunset still takes my breath away, but I see it with new eyes. Eyes that have looked into darkness and chosen light anyway. My body has healed. My heart carries deep scars. But those scars have made it more resilient, more compassionate, and infinitely stronger. I no longer feel shattered. I feel reborn. If you are listening to my story tonight, and you have ever been betrayed by the people you trusted most, the ones who were supposed to love and protect you, please let these words sink deep into your heart. You are not alone in your pain. You are not broken beyond healing. Even when they push you off the highest cliff, you can still choose to rise, to heal, and to live fully again. Protect your peace fiercely. Trust your inner voice. When something feels wrong, gather your truth quietly if you must, and never let anyone convince you that you deserve to disappear. The most powerful form of justice and revenge is not loud anger or destruction. It is standing tall, healed, and at peace, after they tried their hardest to destroy you. I'm Sophia, and I'm still here, breathing deeply, watching beautiful sunsets, and living a life filled with quiet strength they could never take away. Thank you for sitting with me through every part of this story. If it moved you, if it gave you hope in your own difficult season, please share it with someone who needs to know they can survive their own fall. Leave a comment below, and tell me honestly. Have you ever been betrayed by someone very close to you? How did you find the courage to rise again? Until the next story, hold your light gently, but firmly. Even after the deepest betrayal and the longest fall, you can still learn to fly.